I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. This is a transmission for the moment when your life no longer fits, but your voice still pretends it does. You're not here because you're lost. You're here because a version of you has already ended, but it keeps speaking. It answers messages. It makes decisions. It smiles in rooms you don't belong in anymore. This video is about that voice, the one still operating on behalf of a self that no longer lives here. You've changed, internally, undeniably. But the interface between you and the world, your tone, your choices, your reactions, still echoes a former self. The pleaser, the peacekeeper, the one who knew how to stay safe by staying silent. And now, you feel the split. You catch yourself mid-sentence, hearing the residue. You say the right thing and feel the hollowness. You agree out loud, while something inside you screams no. This isn't dysfunction, it's initiation. You've crossed a threshold your voice hasn't caught up to, and the tension you feel is the pressure of a soul that's no longer willing to be misrepresented. You're not broken, but you are being called. This isn't just a shift, it's a severing, and what must be left behind still thinks it's you. The self you're shedding didn't form out of weakness. It formed out of brilliance. It was built to survive the rooms you were handed, to navigate the dynamics, the expectations, the dangers, spoken and unspoken. It was the version of you that knew how to read moods before speaking, how to become useful when love felt conditional, how to speak gently enough to be tolerated, or loudly enough to be feared, if that was safer. And it worked. It got you through. It protected you. It gave you structure, but it also calcified, became a script, a voice that speaks not from truth, but from rehearsal. And now, every time you go to speak, that voice steps in first. Polite, measured, strategic. It filters your knowing through an old equation. How do I say this and still be accepted? You've outgrown that equation, but the mouthpiece still runs it. And part of you feels guilty for letting it go, like you owe that old self a continued place at the table. Like honoring your growth means betraying the version that got you here. But you're not dishonoring your past by moving forward. You're honoring your future by telling the truth. Because you can't live a new life while dragging the voice of a self that was built to survive a different story. You can't move forward while letting the ghost of who you were keep speaking on your behalf. And that's what's about to break. There's another voice inside you now. Quieter, unfamiliar, but unmistakably real. It doesn't perform. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't ask, will they like this? It asks, is this true? This voice didn't arrive to impress anyone. It rose when the pretending collapsed. It doesn't need to be right. It just refuses to be distorted. You've felt it before. In the still moments after you override yourself. When you say the polite thing but feel the afterburn. When you laugh out loud, but something in you goes silent. That's the voice watching. Not judging. Witnessing. And now, it's not content to sit in the background. It's stepping forward. It's looking at you and asking the question no one else will. Whose voice are you still speaking with? The answer will sting because you know. You've been channeling a version of yourself that's expired, but still animated by habit, guilt, and obligation. And the real voice, the one rising now, won't compete with the echo. It will simply wait until you choose. This isn't about finding the right words. It's about letting the false ones go silent. You are not here to keep parroting a past life. You're here to say what only your real voice can say. And now, you will.
The turning doesn't start with a declaration. It starts with a pause. You catch the old voice rising, ready to explain, to please, to smooth the edge, and for the first time, you don't let it speak. You go quiet. Not because you're unsure, but because you're no longer willing to say what isn't true. This is not a rebrand. This is a refusal. You're not trying to sound more evolved. You're not upgrading your tone, adjusting your messaging, optimizing your image. You're just done using someone else's voice to live your own life. The turning happens in micro moments. You read the message and don't rush to reply. You feel the urge to justify and let it pass. You sense the old reflex, and instead of following it, you breathe. The body softens. The mask loosens. The real voice rises, not loud but undeniable. And in that moment, you realize you don't need to perform presence. You are presence. You don't need to defend your knowing. You just need to stop translating it into something more palatable. This is the line. Not shouted, drawn in silence. From this breath forward, you are no longer an echo. You are the sound. And the shape of your life will begin to shift accordingly.
You've walked through the fracture, not with force, but with finality. You've named what was borrowed. You've dropped what was inherited. And now you return, not to aversion, to yourself. The voice that rises now doesn't ask who will approve. It asks, what honors the truth? You're no longer performing strength. You're no longer performing peace. You're no longer translating your clarity through a lens of acceptability. This isn't loud. It's sovereign. This is the presence that doesn't explain. This is the tone that doesn't tremble. You don't owe anyone the comfort of the old self, because the one who used to ask permission has been released. The one who needed to sound right has gone quiet. And the voice that speaks now doesn't carry legacy, loyalty, or fear, only truth. This is the sound of wholeness returning, of a self unlayered. You don't rise by finding better words. You rise by refusing to speak from a voice that was never yours. And from here on, you speak as you. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.